essentially the 4100 level that we're at right now. And you can see some support right here. Let me show you that, which was a previous entry point, becoming support right here, becoming support right here again. If she breaks here, that 41, we have a nice run down to that support line. Now I can garnish all that information off a daily chart. So I now know, before I drop below my daily chart, quite a bit of information about the euro, where it's at, what these levels are, how important they are psychologically, and I can leave those levels on, particularly the trend lines. Now I want to drop now to my 1 hour chart. Again, the reason for doing this, guys, is to look for the optimal trades and trade only the optimal trades. Okay, that's what we're after. Now on the 1 hour chart, my suggestion is always go out to a 2-week period where you can see at least 2 weeks of trading. And the easiest way to do that, I don't need quite that much. Oh, I do need to squeeze it a little bit further. Sorry, guys. Is these diagonal double lines are the separators week by week. So what I see actually in this case for the last week, this was my top right here. I'm going to go in the direction of the trend in the last 2 weeks. And it's going to the short side. So I take the Fibonacci and draw it in the direction of that trend. Top to bottom. Now immediately you see the fibs at work. Immediately today, if anybody had done this, you would have seen the 23% fib as a possible target off a double and triple bottom right here. As the euro, for example, found support down here and formed a bottom or a support region, we were able to put a new fib on, and the first target on that fib was the 23. Now clarification. When a currency has moved a substantial amount, and we know just in the last 2 days it has moved a substantial amount. In the last week, that's a 600 plus pip move. So this baby has moved. Let me leave that fib alone. What will almost always happen is, and again, not almost always is not 100%, so don't get me wrong, but almost always is what I would say. It'll come back and at least test the 23, which happened here. And more than likely will come back and test the 38. Particularly the bigger the run down, the more likelihood it is to come back and test the 38, and sometimes the 50. But almost always, again, not 100%, it'll come back and test the 23. What did the euro do today? It found a support level and it came back to the 23. Now let's go down to our 30-minute chart. And there you see it right there. Let me bring my Rubicon back up to date. To bring it back up to date, just go to that reserve portion, blank it out, click OK, and that'll bring you back up to the current signals. And you can see down here, reach the bottom. Let me move this Rubicon training out of the way. You can see, we reached the bottom right here. Now, the other thing I want to mention, equally important, and those who, follow the rules will do extremely well with this. We mentioned last week, and I'm going to mention it again, about a wave. And a wave, let's get clarification for those who don't understand it or who are new. A wave is a cross by the MA, the light blue MA, which we call the railroad track, through the red MA, which we call the spine. So a cross in one direction by the railroad track to a cross in the opposite direction. So from here all the way over to here, that's one wave. Now we started a new wave here in the beginning of this down move. We are still in that wave because we've not crossed over in the opposite direction yet. Again, clarification. The best moves in the wave are going to be move number 1 and move number 2, and possibly move number 3 in a small or in a strongly moving trending market. As you get to moves 4 and 5, you're out of the highest probability trading zone. Just know that. You're now leaving the highest probability trading zone. And it's not that there isn't a fourth trade here, but it's not as likely to hit. And in this case, it doesn't quite hit. So no big surprise. Finds a bottom right here and pulls back up to the 23%. Now there is one other component to our trading system, and that is this dark blue line, which is called it's a GAN line, and many of you who are traders out there will know where a GAN line is. Again, I haven't mentioned daily averages, Harry. So let me come back to that. I don't want to confuse that. I'll come back to that. I'm just talking about the wave right now. So in sorry guys, I'm after getting off track there. The dark blue line is a GAN line. Now once the GAN line, a couple of very important things. We make sure that we've formed a bottom, and I always look for at least a double bottom or a double top in the opposite direction. And I like to see it on the 1 hour chart. You see it right here on the 1 hour chart. Let me mark where that double bottom has established and then begins to push back in the opposite direction. Now if I go down to my 15-minute chart, right here, once the blue line, the GAN line, opens up, in other words, it drops below the currency. It's like a gate opening up. It drops below. The currency's now open. I can then take a small trade here. Just take what you can out of it. In this case, it goes 40 or 50 pips, boom, in 2 candles right there. So that's what we call a small system trade. I'll come back and spend a little bit more time on that, but just know that that's there. The critical thing is you only do it, guys. My recommendation, only do it when you have an established bottom or top. When you have seen the currency move strongly in one direction, like we did in the last 2 days. You've established the bottom, you've put your fibs on, and you see the fib target is all the way up here at the 23%. That's a potential move of 120, 130 pips. Then if you watch for the GAN to open up right here, enter that trade and just take what you can. Don't expect too much. Don't get greedy. Take what you can out of the trade. So that's another way of trading Rubicon. Now Harry had a question here. The daily range, yes. There's an indicator, and Ken's talking about it as well. So if you just Google daily range, average daily range, you'll get a table for average daily range on each currency. The euro is about 100, 120 pips. There's also an indicator out there that you can get. I don't like cluttering my chart, but it's called the daily range calculator, which does the following. It drops it on to your chart right there, and you can just kind of take a look and see what. Now you can see the daily range on the euro has changed a bit. It's 177. It's normally about 100 to 120. The reason for that is the last couple of days have been, big moves on that. So if you want to just Google average daily range and get that indicator, throw it on your chart, or you can just get a Google average daily range Forex, and you'll also get a calendar or a page that shows you the daily range. I just went through the rules for the small system. I just did exactly that, Gian Piero. And I said these are the rules for the small system. Okay? So, again, somebody must have missed that. So again, what I'm saying we have, gosh, I hate, 1 second, guys. We have an established strong trend down. Currency's moved, it's found support down here. We have a double bottom. Please check it on the hourly chart. Make sure you have a double bottom. Then you can drop to your 15-minute. and look for a small system trade. And to clarify one more time, what is a small system trade? We have established the bottom. Our currency has moved quite a bit. Strong move in one direction. We wait for the GAN line, the dark blue line, to open up. We enter the trade and just take what you can out of the trade. Okay, Adrian, no problem. Good to have you here. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, guys. Right now, if there are other questions, do throw them on there, guys. This is a good time because I can take a look at them now and answer the questions. Now, let's take a look. Currency going in the opposite direction. Aussie dollar. Let's take it out to the daily chart. Squeeze it down. Now, the first thing we notice on the Aussie dollar is that we've not been at this level, this high level up here. $1.10 on the Aussie dollar to the US dollar. Now, that's a significant level. I'm going to check out on my weekly chart, and we see immediately on the weekly chart we've never been at this level before. So that's a new high right there for the Aussie dollar. Back to my daily chart. And do the same thing. We just take a note, put a line, white line up there at that 110. If we come back up to it, I want to be paying attention. That's an all-time high. I also notice a trend line right here on the Oz. And that's kind of as much as I want to take note. I see a level here where it found resistance before and a pullback off that level, so I'll just take a note of that. Now drop down to my 1 hour chart, and what's our procedure, guys, on the 1 hour? Just get 2 weeks of trading. May I blow that out? That's too many. I still gotta blow it out. Make sure I got 2 weeks of trading. This is a tough one because this is essentially, from reading the chart from left to right, this thing is essentially flat. But what I'll do is I'll take the most recent, which is just in the last week and a half, move top to bottom. Now let's blow that out. Again, look what happened, guys. Look exactly what happened here. Strong move to the downside. Now let's look at the previous move. On the previous Fibonacci, it pulled back 61% of the move. And this is important to take a note of as well, because it reaches a double top up here. See it right here, guys? So it's unable to make the 100% recover the entire move. So right here you're seeing, uh-oh, we got weakness here. We've got weakness. And it starts drifting on back down. Now I'm on a 1 hour chart, so I would really be noting right there, once we start seeing the red candles coming in, a potential to drop down and get that small system trade on the 15-minute. Let me come back to that in a moment. Looking at it today, we have a new low. So we have a new Fibonacci. And look what we got. It came up and tested right here the 23% fib and held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours of today's trading. It was held by that 23 fib. That's how important that Fibonacci is. Now it looks like it's heading to test the 20 to 38. Look at the 38. Earlier, very early today and late yesterday, that 38 was a resistance point. It held it before it dropped down again, and it looks like it's heading there. So immediate trading. First thing I want to look for the red candle on the double bottom, and then drop down to our 15-minute chart. If you're good at this, you can drop to a 5-minute, but I'm almost afraid to say that because